Korea, an enigmatic land that balances its rich historical legacy with its dynamic modernity, is a study in contrasts. Here, ancient palaces brush against skyscraper horizons, and serene temple grounds offer solace from the bustling city streets. And this unique backdrop serves as a canvas to a less visible storyline, the immense influence of a few wealthy families over the country's economic and cultural landscape. These conglomerates, which started as small family businesses, have grown into vast empires that dominate nearly every sector of Korea's economy, from electronics and automobiles to fashion and food. Today, we dive into the intricate webs woven by these powerful families, revealing that their role is key to grasping the broader socioeconomic fabric of Korea, a place where tradition and innovation are perpetually intertwined. When we daydream about joining the ranks of the world's richest families, we often picture the glitz and the glamour, not the grind and the grit it takes to get there. Yet, the story of the Chung family, the $14 billion dynasty behind Hyundai's automotive and shipping empire, starts far from luxury, grounded in the raw determination of a patriarch who came from nothing. The saga begins when their family founder is born into poverty in what is now North Korea, a farmer's son with a relentless drive who in fact ran away from home not once, not twice, but 3 times trying to start a business and change his stars. Thus, for the Chung family founder, each escape wasn't just an act of rebellion, it was a bold step towards an unimaginable future. And it was this mix of daring and vision that transformed a modest trading company into an industrial titan, helming not just one of the largest car companies in the world, but we bet you didn't know that Hyundai, and thus the Chung family, runs the largest shipbuilding enterprise in the world as well. Yet, shockingly, the gleam of their multi-billion-dollar dynasty belies the shadow of misfortune that trails their footsteps. As they climbed the peaks of industrial dominance, they were also beset by a series of calamities that seemed almost mythic in their cruelty. From the despair of 3 unexpected passings of family heirs, including 2 sons who personally chose to no longer continue living, to the criminal conviction for embezzlement of the current family patriarch. This wealthy family's saga is more than just a rags-to-riches tale. It is a Shakespearean drama, with the sleek counters of modern South Korea as its backdrop. In today's episode, join us as we describe the Chung family of Hyundai, a $14 billion saga of wealth and woe. In the echelons of South Korea's business aristocracy, few names resonate with the same vibrancy as that of Chung Mong-koo. The venerable former CEO and honorary chairman of Hyundai Motor Group, Mong-koo has etched his name into the annals of corporate law, not just through his strategic acumen, but also via the sheer magnitude of his fortune. As of 2024, his net worth is estimated to be $4.7 billion, according to Forbes. Meanwhile, his annual salary is $4.3 million, according to mywage.org. And the Chung dynasty's coffers, bolstered by their Hyundai conglomerate that spans the automotive, shipbuilding and construction sectors, owe much to Mong-koo's tenure as chairman of Hyundai Motor. Under his stewardship, the brand not only became synonymous with reliability and innovation, it grew to be a cornerstone of the family's wealth accumulation. And over the past year, Hyundai has set a new course towards unprecedented success in the choppy waters of the automotive industry. Financial figures speak volumes, with the company's coffers swelling to the tune of $118 billion in revenue for the 12 months ending in September of last year. This marks a leap from the previous fiscal year's $105 billion, charting a growth trajectory of 21.19%. Certainly, such numbers are not just indicators of robust sales and operational finesse, they are the metrics of Hyundai's relentless pursuit of excellence. Yet, it's in the fiercely competitive US market where Hyundai's strategy and agility have truly shone. Ascending to the 3rd rank in retail new vehicle market share in the initial 5 months of 2022, Hyundai now only trails behind automotive behemoths Toyota and GM. And this climb fueled by a diversified product lineup across key car and utility segments, is a striking demonstration of Hyundai's market acumen and its ability to connect with American consumers. Parallel to the rigors of automobile manufacturing, in the leisure world, the Chung dynasty doesn't hold back. Their Hyundai Yachts Club stands as a beacon of luxury and an icon of the Chung family's ambition to cultivate a rich yachting culture in South Korea. And this initiative, helmed by their Hyundai Yacht, pioneers in the luxury yacht domain, is a bold stride towards integrating global yacht brands into the Korean lifestyle. With amenities like Wangsun Marina and the opulent VIP lounge The River in Seoul, the club offers a medley of nautical adventures and bespoke events, from serene sunset cruises to grandiose wedding celebrations. Therefore, it's an endeavor that not only enriches the leisure landscape, it elevates yachting to an emblem of sophistication and a conduit for unparalleled experiences. Furthermore, in the wider panorama of Southeast Asia, luxury yachting is emerging as a vibrant epicenter of the industry, drawing in the region's elite with the allure of pristine cruising destinations and the promise of high-end tourism. Already seen as old money leisure activity of the well-heeled back in the West, nations such as Thailand, Indonesia, and the Philippines are now coveted ports of call for yachting, and their enchanting waters are hosting the sleek silhouettes of luxury yachts. Here, the pursuit of exclusivity merges with the economic potential, steering these locales towards becoming havens for both opulence and investment. And how could we forget the Chung family tree, rooted in tradition and branching out into modern industry, and anchored by Chung Mong-koo and his wife, Lee Jung-hwa. Their children, including the heir apparent, Chung Yui-sun, are poised to carry the Hyundai banner forward, ensuring the family's legacy and fortune continue to thrive in 2024 and beyond. However, life for the Chung dynasty wasn't always luxury yachts and the breathtakingly sleek vehicles. Believe it or not, this multi-billion-dollar behemoth of a family started in the mind of a poor farmer in the early days of the 20th centuries. In the chronicles of corporate history, few stories of rise are as imbued with determination and resilience as that of Chung Ju-young, the visionary family patriarch behind Hyundai. Emerging from the humble beginnings of Asanri, now situated within North Korea's territory, in 1915, Chung's early existence was a testament to adversity. And the shadow of Japanese colonial rule and the spectre of poverty loomed large over his family, curtailing his formal education and thrusting him into the workforce at a tender age. Yet, even as a youth, Chung's entrepreneurial flame burned brightly. You see, his days were split between the teachings of Confucianism under his grandfather's watchful eye and entrepreneurial ventures, such as selling firewood to eke out a living. And newspapers, his window to the wider world, spurred dreams of opportunity beyond the confines of his rural existence. Thus, at 16 years of age and driven by an unyielding desire to transcend the confines of his existence, Chung, alongside a companion, set his sights on Seishin, now known as Chongjin in North Korea, fueled by the prospect of employment and the promise of a better future. And their journey, a perilous 15-mile trek through the daunting terrain of the Peichun Valley, led them to the town of Kogan, present-day Kowon, North Korea, where they found work as construction laborers. Despite the grueling hours and meager compensation, Chung relished in the independence that came with earning his own keep. This initial foray into the workforce was short-lived, however, as their adventure came to an abrupt halt upon his father's discovery of their whereabouts. Therefore, this experience, though brief, ignited in Chung a passion for civil engineering and instilled a sense of accomplishment. Undeterred, he soon plotted another escape, this time setting his sights on Keijo, modern-day Seoul, in April 1933. Accompanied by two friends, their journey was fraught with challenges, from the early capture of one companion by a family member to a deceitful encounter with a stranger who robbed them of their funds. Their plans were once again foiled when Chung's father located him at his grandfather's residence, putting an end to their expedition. Back in Asan, Chung dedicated a year to aiding his father on the farm. Yet, the dream of a life beyond poverty remained unshaken. Seizing an opportunity, he sold one of his father's cows to purchase a train ticket to Keio for 71, and upon arrival, Chung enrolled in a bookkeeping school, aspiring to carve out a career as an accountant. This venture, too, was short-lived. 2 months later, his father located him, leading to a mild confrontation before taking him back to Gasan. Despite these many attempts, by 18, he finally successfully completed a daring escape to Seoul. There, his journey took him from the docks of Jinsan Harbor to the construction sites of Boseong Professional School and the humble abode of a starch syrup factory, each job a stepping stone towards something greater. Then, Chung's tenacity bore fruit when, as a deliveryman for the Bokong rice store, he caught the owner's eye, ascending to the role of accountant and eventually owner. Yet, this early venture also did not last long, as Japan's wartime policies forced him out of the rice business. This setback, however, was merely a prelude to the rise of Hyundai, and the winds of change brought by the end of World War II saw Chung pivot to a niche yet crucial operation, refurbishing trucks for the US Armed Forces. You see, the presence of US Armed Forces in Korea, part of the American military's broader efforts to support and stabilize the region in the post-war period, helped Chung capitalize on the immediate needs of a cash-rich foreign military and also lay the groundwork for Hyundai's expansion. Consequently, this pivot marked the nascent stages of what would burgeon into a sprawling Chung family empire, extending its reach into engineering, construction, and notably, shipbuilding. Now, Chung Ju-young's audacious entry into shipbuilding, securing a multi-million-dollar order with no prior experience, catapulted Hyundai to the forefront of the industry, embodying the company's meteoric rise to becoming the world's largest shipbuilder. And in his twilight years, his focus shifted towards the lofty aim of Korean reunification, engaging in diplomacy, cross-border ventures, and symbolic acts like the return of 1,000 cattle to North Korea, igniting hope in the hearts of those yearning for a united Korea. And the establishment of Hyundai Civil Works in 1947, later evolving into Hyundai Construction Company in 1950, marked Chung's bold stride into rebuilding a war-torn nation. The Korean War presented formidable challenges, yet Chung's unwavering vision of a resurgent Korea never dimmed. Hyundai, or modern times, became synonymous with the nation's march towards progress, reflecting an ethos not confined to any single industry, but encompassing a limitless horizon of possibilities. At the heart of Hyundai's storied rise were Chung Ju-young's gambits, investments in R&D, a commitment to delivering quality at competitive prices, and a customer-first ethos that anticipated and met consumer desires. The 1960s heralded a critical period for Hyundai amid South Korea's push for economic revitalization. For example, the government's second five-year economic plan, introduced in 1967, underscored the importance of domestic automobile production. Capitalizing on this directive, Chung founded the Hyundai Motor Company within the same year, entering into an initial partnership with Ford to produce the Cortina, a model that incorporated 21% Korean-manufactured parts. Hyundai's ambition extended beyond mere manufacturing. The company aimed to forge a distinctly Korean automobile. This vision led to the collaboration with Italian designer Giorgio Giugiaro and British engineers to create the Pony, South Korea's first mass-produced car, in 1976. Equipped with a Mitsubishi engine, the Pony symbolized Hyundai's burgeoning prowess and achieved notable success in European and South American markets, though it fell short of entering the premium US market. Next, the 1970s marked a period of exponential economic growth for South Korea, with a significant surge in GNP driven by export expansion. And Hyundai emerged as a pivotal player in this economic boom, capturing a considerable share of the domestic market by 1976. Indeed, the company's trajectory mirrored the nation's ambition to transition from a labor-intensive economy to a modern industrial powerhouse. Entering the 1980s, Hyundai targeted the promising US market, launching the Excel in 1985 as a competitively priced sedan and hatchback. The Excel's success in the US underscored Hyundai's capability to compete on a global stage, marking its evolution from a regional manufacturer to an international automotive force. Despite facing challenges such as the early 80s oil crisis, which temporarily impacted sales, Hyundai's resilience was evident in its response, enhancing productivity and innovating its own models. By the decade's end, the company achieved a milestone in technological self-reliance with the development of its first proprietary gasoline engine, the Alpha, and its own transmission system. This achievement underscored Hyundai's transition towards independence from foreign technology, setting the stage for its future as a self-sustaining, innovative car manufacturer. Thus, Hyundai's journey through the post-war reconstruction era and beyond is a chronicle of innovation and adaptation. And by the twilight of the 20th century, Hyundai had become a household name around the world. The mantle of leadership thus passed to Chung in 1999, who, with a blend of foresight and financial acumen, propelled Hyundai Motor Company into a new epoch. And his strategy was a potent mix of investment in design, quality, and manufacturing prowess, supplemented by an audacious warranty offer that captured the American market's imagination. Furthermore, Hyundai's narrative took a decisive turn in 2004 when it was heralded as a paragon of initial quality by J.D. Power and Associates. Today, Hyundai's dominion extends far beyond the realms of shipbuilding and automobiles, encapsulating a vast empire that spans engineering, energy, and logistics. Yet, even with all of the economic and industrial success in the world, in order to tell the full story of the Hyundai family, we must mention the tragedies, for this is, sadly, an integral part of their saga. Now, believe it or not, the story of Chung Jae-yong and his descendants unfolds with the drama of a Shakespearean tragedy, mixed with the resilience of a lineage from HBO's Game of Thrones. You see, the Hyundai founder, a paragon of entrepreneurial vision, fathered 11 children, 8 sons and 3 daughters, who each, in their way, were to carry the mantle of their father's legacy. Yet, fate had a script of its own, marked by both triumph and tragedy. The family's ordeal began with the death of Chung Shin-yong, the founder's brother, in 1962, due to an intestinal obstruction while studying in Germany. Sadly, this loss was a harbinger of the misfortunes that would befall the family in the years to come. Then, in 1982, the family was struck by a profound tragedy when Chung Mong-pil, Chung Jae-yong's eldest son, died in a car accident. You see, the accident occurred in Gimcheon on the Gyeongbu Expressway, and Chung Mong-pil was driving a Hyundai-built Ford Granada at the time of his demise. Furthermore, this loss was not just a personal blow to the family, but also a significant disruption to the succession plans within the Hyundai conglomerate. The succession within Hyundai even further jolted by the self-inflicted demise of Chung Mong-woo, another heir, in 1990. His passing, a personal decision born out of struggles not visible on the corporate stage, highlighted the silent battles with mental health issues that individuals may endure, irrespective of their public stature or success. Then, further complicating the succession path was the self-chosen loss of Chung Mong-hun in 2003, amidst a scandal that rocked the foundations of Hyundai and the Korean peninsula at large. As a central figure within the conglomerate, Chung Mong-hun's involvement in illicit fund transfers to North Korea, aimed at facilitating a summit with the South, drew intense scrutiny. His passing, amidst legal challenges and public controversy, had profound implications for Hyundai's market performance and brought to the fore questions regarding the group's engagement in political affairs, especially those concerning North Korea. Yet the dramatic saga continued with Chung Mong-koo, another of Chung Jae-yong's sons, and the man who would eventually take over Hyundai faced allegations of embezzlement in 2007. Despite the gravity of these charges, he retained his leadership role within the company, sparking a broader dialogue on corporate governance and ethical leadership within the conglomerate. However, all the while, his stewardship of the Hyundai Kia automotive group into a global powerhouse still underscored the resilience embedded within the family's DNA. Meanwhile, Chung Mong-kun and Chung Kyung-hee emerged as custodians of the family's diverse business interests, from department stores to the automotive sector, demonstrating the breadth of the Chung family's influence across industries. Therefore, the Chung family's journey, marked by both remarkable achievements and profound setbacks, encapsulates the volatile interplay between personal legacy and corporate destiny. Let's flip over to the final chapter to see what they've got on the horizon for the 2020s. Now, family member Chung Mong-jun has carved his niche both within the behemoth shipbuilding industry at Hyundai Heavy Industries Group and on the political stage. As the helmsman of the world's largest shipbuilder, his strategic acumen has not only propelled the company to maritime dominance, but also solidified his status as a titan of industry. And venturing beyond the boardrooms of Hyundai, Mong-jun set his sights on the political arena in 1988, embarking on a storied tenure as an assemblyman that spanned 7 consecutive terms. Moreover, his political odyssey has been complemented by a significant presence in the world of sports administration, notably as the president of the Korean Football Association and a vice-presidential stint at FIFA. Meanwhile, siblings Chung Mong-il and Chung Mong-kun, though less conspicuous in public discourse, remain integral threads in the family's fabric, contributing to the conglomerate's legacy in their respective capacities. These days, Hyundai Motors Group has firmly positioned itself as the world's 3rd largest automobile manufacturer in 2024. And the conglomerate, encompassing Hyundai Motor Company and Kia Corporation, drives its revenue from a gamut of automotive pursuits, including the sale of vehicles, parts, and an array of related services. With a global market share that saw Hyundai dispatching 4.24 million vehicles into the world in 2023, making up about 5% of the worldwide car market, the company's influence on the global stage is unmistakable. And Hyundai's knack for forging strategic partnerships is also noteworthy. Collaborations with behemoths like Amazon, enabling vehicle sales on Amazon.com in 2024, and AWS, which turbocharges Hyundai with state-of-the-art cloud computing prowess, highlight the company's forward-thinking approach. Furthermore, Hyundai's global manufacturing footprint, with substantial investments in the United States, especially in the burgeoning electric vehicle sector, speaks volumes about its strategic operational deployment. Peering into Hyundai's crystal ball, the road ahead appears paved with ambitious endeavors and technological milestones. With the Chung family at the helm, it's likely that the corporation will be much like their own personal history, filled with the highest of highs and a few speed bumps along the way. Imagine your life at the very pinnacle of power and prestige in the lovingly innovative and forward-thinking culture of South Korea. Of course, we're not talking about strutting your dance moves as a member of legendary boy band BTS, or being an award-winning star in media properties like Squid Game or Best Picture winner Parasite, although those would be nice. We're talking about a life as South Korean old money where you wake up and check your Samsung phone before heading downstairs to do your laundry in your Samsung washing machine. You turn on your Samsung TV to watch the news hosted in a skyscraper built by Samsung. You live and breathe in a world dominated by this brand. And, with the way this company's grown over the last half-century, even when you die, you'll be buried in a Samsung coffin. Better yet, we want you to imagine that you're the heir of this iconic global behemoth. The last place you'd want to, and expect to, end up is in a jail cell. And yet, that's exactly what happened along the way to the Lee family of South Korea's $370 billion empire. In today's episode, we'll share with you the full saga of the founding family of Samsung, from rags to riches to jail to more riches, as we describe. The Lee family, the $370 billion family that owns South Korea. Lee Jae-yong, the suave executive chairman of Samsung, or chaebol for those in the know, isn't just a business tycoon. He's a walking, talking emblem of Asian affluence. With a net worth bobbing around the $9 to $11 billion mark, Lee's not just rich. He's look up and see my bank balance in the stars rich. And his golden goose is, of course, a cozy 2% stake in Samsung as of January 2024. Not too shabby for a day's work. Now, looking to the luxurious life of this billionaire, Lee's not one to overtly flaunt his assets, but let's just say his entry into any room is nothing short of a red carpet affair. Private jets, limos with windows so tinted you'd think they lead to another universe, and suits so sharp they could probably cut glass. That's just a Tuesday for him. And when he's not making business moves, you'll find him perfecting his golf swing or trotting around equestrian stables. Because why not? Naturally, we can't forget his real estate game, which is as strong as the camera quality on the latest phones he makes billions from every day. In 2014, he casually dropped a cool $45 million on a Madison Avenue pad in New York. Add to that properties in London and Seoul, and you've got yourself a global monopoly board. But wait, there's his sister, Lee Boo-jin, sitting pretty with a net worth of $3.7 billion as well. Indeed, she's not just one of the country's richest women, she's a diamond-encrusted powerhouse in her own right. Her rise to riches was punctuated by a journey through the Samsung empire, climbing the ladder all the way to the top at Hotel Schiller, and her lifestyle is equal to Lee Jae-yong's luxury level. But then, add a sprinkle of extra extravagance. She's seldom seen without a Bulgari watch that's worth more than most people's homes, and her art collection is diversified as the electronics division in her family's very own multi-billion-dollar empire. Therefore, from the outside, the Samsung family is the very definition of luxury, wealth and influence, and it's like they've got a VIP pass to life itself. But how did this empire sprout from the ground? To understand the roots of this opulent family tree, we need to time travel back to the dawn of the Common Era, where a legendary story of astronomical wealth begins. In the intricate landscape of South Korean history, the Lee family name, or Yi in its original form, emerges as a significant pillar. Tracing its origins to the Gyeongju clan, which was established at the dawn of the Common Era, the clan system in South Korea presents a fascinating study. Unlike the Scottish clans, known for their tartan-clad warriors and rugged highland territories, or the intricate tribal systems of Japan, marked by their strict social hierarchies and samurai codes, the Korean clan system is distinguished by its unique combination of ancestral reverence, regional ties, and social stratification. And the Gyeongju clan, from which Samsung's Lee family descends, boasts a staggering membership of over 1.4 million individuals. And King Yuri, around the year 9 CE, marked a pivotal moment in this clan's history by conferring the name Yi upon his subjects, a name that, through centuries, has evolved into Lee in modern translation. Thus, the Lee surname, riding the waves of time, has become one of the most prevalent in South Korea, only surpassed by one other in terms of popularity. Therefore, outside of the Samsung founders in Korean history, we can find many notable figures hailing from the Gyeongju clan. These luminaries have painted various sectors with their brilliance, from arts to politics, adding layers of richness to the family's legacy. However, the story of Lee Byung-chul, the founding father of Samsung, adds a particularly golden hue to this already impressive lineage. Born not into the struggles of poverty, but into the comforts of substantial wealth, his story begins in the South Gyeongsang province of the then Korean Empire. Indeed, we can picture the South Gyeongsang province at the turn of the century, a period marked by the ebb and flow of traditional Korean culture and the impending tides of modernization. Certainly, it was an era when Korea stood at the crossroads of its own deep-rooted heritage and the looming shadows of external influences. In this historical juncture, in February 1910, Byung-chul entered the world as the youngest of 4 siblings, destined to leave an indelible mark on the business world. From a tender age, education was the beacon that guided Byung-chul's early journey. His academic voyage began at Jungdong High School in Seoul and later led him to the shores of Tokyo, where he enrolled at Waseda University. However, the halls of academia could not contain his burgeoning entrepreneurial spirit for long. Byung-chul soon realized that his true calling lay not in the pursuit of scholarly accolades, but in the vibrant arena of business. With a decision that would set the stage for a remarkable career, Byung-chul turned his back on Waseda University, choosing instead to carve his own path in the world of commerce. Thus, with the boldness of a pioneer and the legacy of centuries coursing through his veins, the entrepreneurial chapter of Lee Byung-chul's life commenced. In 1938, a pivotal year in South Korea's commercial saga, Lee Byung-chul embarked on a venture that would redefine the business landscape of the nation. Founding the Samsung Trading Company in Busan on the 1st of March, he ventured into a domain that was both challenging and promising. Now, the 30s and 40s in South Korea were periods rife with economic transformations. The country, still grappling with the vestiges of Japanese occupation and the stirrings of modern industry, presented a fertile ground for businesses that could bridge the gap between traditional commerce and the emerging demands of a modernizing society. In this context, a grocery transportation company seemed a strategic choice for Byung-chul, catering to the essential needs of a population on the cusp of change. Now, with an initial investment of 30,000 won, roughly equivalent to $25, Byung-chul demonstrated his business acumen in an era when such a sum represented a significant financial commitment. And his approach to growing Samsung Trading Co. was a masterclass in entrepreneurial agility and foresight. In a span of just 7 years, he transformed the company from a modest operation into a significant player in the national market. This rapid expansion can be attributed to his keen understanding of the evolving Korean market, his ability to forge pivotal business relationships, and a relentless pursuit of diversification and innovation in business practices. By 1945, Samsung Trading Company had expanded its operations across the country, becoming a prominent name in the transportation of produce. This success prompted Byung-chul to relocate to Seoul in 1947, seeking new horizons in the nation's capital. However, in 1950, the burgeoning trajectory of Samsung and the fate of South Korea took a dramatic turn with the outbreak of the Korean War. The conflict, rooted in the deep-seated ideological divide between the communist North and the capitalist South, escalated following the North's invasion of the South, and this geopolitical upheaval was a stark manifestation of the Cold War tensions, fracturing the Korean peninsula and its people. Consequently forced to move back to Busan due to the conflict, Byung-chul faced a daunting challenge. Yet, in the turmoil of war, he discovered unexpected opportunities. The influx of American soldiers, part of the United States' effort to support South Korea against the North's aggression, created a new market dynamic, and the presence of these foreign troops, with their distinct needs and consumption patterns, opened new avenues for Samsung Trading Company. Byung-chul adeptly capitalized on this situation, adapting his business to cater to this new clientele. Therefore, the war years, while a period of great hardship for many, paradoxically proved to be a boon for Samsung Trading Company, as the company played a crucial role in meeting the increased demand for goods and services, thereby solidifying its position in the Korean economy. In the aftermath of the Korean War, Lee Byung-chul, with visionary zeal, steered Samsung into the realm of textiles, recognizing the pivotal role this sector could play in Korea's economic resurgence. This strategic expansion marked the beginning of a phenomenal growth trajectory for Samsung, transforming it from a national contender into a global powerhouse. And the 1960s heralded a period of diversification and acquisition under Byung-chul's leadership. His astute business strategies led to the acquisition of multiple insurance companies, a department store, an oil refinery, and a nylon company. Subsequently, this period of aggressive expansion underlined Samsung's ambition to become a conglomerate with a varied portfolio, a goal that was rapidly becoming a reality. Then, 1969 was a watershed year for Samsung as it ventured into the electronics industry. The establishment of its first electronic divisions and the subsequent production of black and white televisions marked Samsung's foray into what would become its flagship sector. And the success was immediate and staggering. Samsung soon became the world's largest producer of black and white televisions. Concurrently, other subsidiaries began to manufacture home appliances, which quickly garnered acclaim within Korea for their quality and innovation. Furthermore, during this era of expansion and success, Byung-chul's son, Lee Kun-hee, started to show a keen interest in the family business. Fresh from his studies at George Washington University, Kun-hee was groomed by his father, learning the intricate realities of steering a company as dynamic and successful as Samsung. Then, the 1980s saw Byung-chul relentlessly driving Samsung's evolution into a technological titan. Under his guidance, the company branched out into semiconductors, electronics, aerospace, and in 1985, the establishment of Samsung Data Systems marked its entry into the information technology sector. These bold moves laid the groundwork for Samsung's future as a global leader in technology and innovation. But then, in 1987, the visionary founder of Samsung, Lee Byung-chul, passed away at the age of 77. At the time of his passing, his estimated net worth was around $35 million, equal to roughly 94 million today, standing as a symbol of his extraordinary ability to turn a modest investment into a multi-million-dollar empire. But Byung-chul's legacy extends far beyond his personal wealth. He was instrumental in the rebirth and growth of Korea's post-war economy, playing a crucial role in the nation's industrial and technological advancements. His life's work, Samsung, not only revolutionized business practices in Korea, but also set new benchmarks in global corporate leadership. However, in order to enter into truly old money territory, the Lee family would need their second generation of heirs to not only match Daddy's performance, but actually outdo the patriarch. Let's see in the next chapter of They Succeeded. In the wake of Lee Byung-chul's passing, a significant restructuring took place within the Samsung empire, and the conglomerate was divided into 5 distinct entities, reflecting a strategic decision to diversify and specialize. First, Lee Kun-hee, Byung-chul's son, assumed control of Samsung Electronics, a move that would herald a new era for the company. His siblings, meanwhile, took charge of the remaining divisions, each carving their own path in the expansive Samsung landscape. And under Lee Kun-hee's stewardship, Samsung Electronics was poised for a transformation. Kun-hee perceived the company, as it stood, to be in a state of stagnation, a stark contrast to its dynamic and innovative beginnings. And this perception was not without basis. Despite its size and reach, Samsung had become mired in a comfort zone, with its strategies and products reflecting a reluctance to venture beyond familiar territories and challenge existing paradigms. Thus, determined to elevate Samsung Electronics to a global stature, Lee Kun-hee embarked on a radical overhaul. He identified a core issue, a cultural inertia within Korean corporate society that hindered innovation and discouraged dissenting opinions. To break this mold, Kun-hee introduced a new management philosophy, encouraging open dialogue, critical thinking, and a departure from the hierarchical norms that stifled creativity and risk-taking. Furthermore, Kun-hee's emphasis on quality over quantity marked a significant shift from the prevailing industry norms. Rather than churning out a plethora of products, he focused on refining a select few, ensuring they surpassed international standards. This strategy was thus not just about competing, it was about setting new benchmarks in quality and innovation. Therefore, the late 80s and 90s saw Samsung Electronics expand its footprint globally, with new manufacturing plants sprouting from England to Texas. This expansion was complemented by a foray into diverse technological ventures, including automobile manufacturing and the acquisition of international companies like Lux and Reli. Soon, Kun-hee's aggressive expansion tactics bore fruit. By 1995, Samsung Electronics' revenue soared to $87 billion, accounting for a significant portion of South Korea's GDP. Yet, success often walks hand in hand with controversy. In 1996, Lee Kun-hee's leadership came under scrutiny following allegations of political bribery linked to then-President Roh Tae-woo. Accused of engaging in corrupt practices, Kun-hee faced a 2-year prison sentence. However, the sentence was initially suspended and subsequently, Kun-hee received a political pardon from President Kim Young-sam. But this episode, while a blemish on his career, did not detract from the monumental impact Lee Kun-hee had on transforming Samsung Electronics, and by extension, South Korea's presence in the global technological arena. His vision and relentless pursuit of excellence propelled Samsung into an era of unprecedented growth and innovation, firmly establishing it as a titan in the global market. Next, during the next decades, Samsung not only weathered the storm of the Asian financial crisis, but also emerged as a leader in the global technology market. The crisis, which swept through Asia from July 1997 to December 1998, tested the mettle of many Asian conglomerates. Samsung, under Kun Hee's guidance, navigated these turbulent times with strategic foresight, strengthening its position in the global economy. And a key milestone in Samsung's journey was the launch of the first Galaxy smartphone in the early 2000s. This product swiftly gained acclaim worldwide, catapulting Samsung into a major player in the smartphone market. In parallel, 2006 marked another triumph for the company as it ascended to the position of the top-selling television manufacturer. These successes were emblematic of Samsung's growing dominance and its ability to innovate and adapt to changing market dynamics. However, the sheen of these achievements was dulled in 2008 when Lee Kun-hee again faced serious legal challenges. He was found guilty of tax evasion, a charge that led to fines exceeding $80 million and a 3-year prison sentence. Similar to the past, Kun-hee was pardoned, reflecting a complex interplay of business, politics, and law in South Korea. This legal debacle resulted in Kun-hee temporarily stepping down as chairman of Samsung Electronics in 2008. But Kun-hee's hiatus from the helm of Samsung was short-lived. He returned to the leadership position in 2010, demonstrating his obsessive commitment to the company's growth and innovation. Under his renewed leadership, Samsung continued to expand its technological footprint, delving into new products such as tablets and smartwatches. However, in 2014, Lee Kun-hee's health took a turn for the worse when he suffered a heart attack, leading him to step down from his active leadership role. He retained the title of chairman but passed the baton of day-to-day management to his son, Lee Jae-yong, who took on the role of de facto director. This transition marked a new chapter in Samsung's history, one that would be navigated by the now third generation of the iconic Lee family. Unfortunately, rather than righting the family ship back on course in the legal realm, more criminal trouble would soon be afoot for the Lees. Lee Jae-yong's tenure at the helm of Samsung has been mired in legal controversies, casting a shadow over the tech giant's impressive achievements, and the most significant of these controversies erupted in 2017, revealing a tangled web of bribery and corruption. Central to this scandal was the revelation that Lee Jae-yong had bribed South Korea's former president, Park Geun-hye. Among various illicit transactions, the most striking, perhaps, was the embezzlement of company funds to purchase an $800,000 horse for Park's daughter. Lee Jae-yong initially served a year of his prison sentence before it was suspended. However, this respite was short-lived as, in January 2021, his sentence was reinstated, leading to another 6 months behind bars before he was granted a presidential pardon. Shockingly, the legal woes for Lee Jae-yong did not end there. In the same year, he faced conviction and a fine of $59,000 for using the illegal sedative propofol. His defense, citing stress relief, failed to sway the court's judgment. Furthermore, allegations surfaced in 2023 linking Lee to a $3.9 billion accounting fraud scandal dating back to 2015, with prosecutors accusing him of manipulating stock prices of 2 Samsung subsidiaries, a move aimed at consolidating his control over the conglomerate. While prosecutors sought a 5-year imprisonment, the outcome of this case remained pending at the time of this report. Despite these tumultuous legal challenges, Samsung Electronics' business performance has remained robust. In the third quarter of 2023, the company held a significant 19.4% market share in the smartphone industry, trailing only behind Apple. Moreover, Samsung has laid out ambitious plans for the future, focusing on integrating advanced AI models into its upcoming generations of smartphones and electronics. Lee Jae-yong continues to steer Samsung even as he faces the possibility of further jail time, and this juxtaposition of business success and personal legal strife paints a complex picture of the Samsung dynasty. On the surface, The company's achievements and market dominance depict a tale of triumph and innovation. However, a deeper examination reveals a less pristine narrative, marked by legal entanglements and ethical questions, much like almost any old money family we've investigated on this channel. The air is thick with tension in the heavy silence of a South Korean courtroom as a monumental battle rages over the vast inheritance left behind by the late Koo Bon-moo, the former chairman of the $89 billion global electronics empire LG Group. On one side stands Koo Kwang-mo, the late mogul's nephew, who became the hand-picked heir to the multi-billion-dollar company after Koo Bon-moo's biological son passed prematurely in 1994, keeping in line with the family tradition of passing control to male-only successors. Opposing him on the other side are his own flesh and blood, his two adopted sisters/first cousins, Koo Yeon-kyung and Koo Yeon-soo, and Koo Bon-moo's widow, Kim Young-sik. They allege deception in the inheritance process, claiming that Koo Kwang-mo and other LG executives manipulated events to seize control, depriving them of their rightful share. This lawsuit thus pits the matriarch and daughters against the nephew-turned-heir, challenging the patriarchal traditions that have long dictated succession at LG. With a multi-billion-dollar global fortune and a crucial share of LG Group at stake, the battle lines are drawn. So join us as we describe the full saga of the Koo family, the $89 billion Asian Game of Thrones for the LG empire. The Koo family, the brains and bucks behind LG Group, one of South Korea's mega conglomerates, has watched their net worth skyrocket recently. And by 2024, this family's collective fortune has been pegged at a jaw-dropping $5.9 billion. At the helm of this money machine is Koo Kwang-mo, the current chairman and CEO of LG Corp, the holding company of LG Group. He's got a 17.5% stake, worth a cool $3.2 billion. And under his watch, LG has doubled down on innovation, pledging a whopping $74 billion for the next 5 years in cutting-edge tech like AI, biotech, and clean energy. Furthermore, his adoptive dad, the late Koo Bon-moo, handpicked him as heir, ensuring the family empire didn't miss a beat. Talk about keeping it in the family. But the Koos aren't just tech tycoons. They've spread their investments across real estate, finance, and tech startups, proving they're not just a one-trick pony, and these savvy moves have padded their already bursting bank accounts nicely. Additionally, they're a cornerstone of South Korea's social and economic fabric, ranked as the fourth largest family-operated business, or chaebol, in South Korea, employing over 70,000 people worldwide. And as of 2024, the company's market valuation has hit an eye-watering 14 trillion won, roughly $10 billion, showcasing financial health that would make a bank blush. This boom can be credited to their sharp focus on expanding B2B operations, non-hardware business models, and new growth engines. LG's home appliance and vehicle solutions divisions have been standout performers, posting record-high operating profits. But the Koo family's influence isn't limited to top-tier positions. They have family members and insiders strategically placed across LG's subsidiaries and joint ventures. For example, LG Electronics, the flagship subsidiary, is led by CEO William Cho, another Koo family ally. Beyond business, the Koo family has an impressive real estate portfolio spanning multiple regions. A notable property is at 200 Koo Wee Rup Road in Victoria, Australia, a prime piece reflecting their taste for high-value real estate. They also own 25 Sabella Avenue in the same area, underscoring their substantial investments down under. But let's not forget their penchant for luxury. The Koo family's collection of high-end cars is the stuff of legends, and among their prized possessions is the Rolls-Royce La Rose Noire Droptail, valued at $30 million, the most expensive car in the world in 2024. Then there's the Bugatti La Voiture Noire at $18.68 million, a carbon fiber marvel and homage to the Type 57 SC Atlantic. They also boast the Pagani Zonda HP Barchetta, a custom-built gem worth $17 million, and the Bugatti 110, a $9 million beauty limited to just 10 units. But how did a little-known family, such as the Koo, go from, like so many other South Koreans, escaping the ravages of war, to running a multi-billion-dollar global empire and traversing around in cars that carry a price tag of millions of dollars each? Let's flip over to the next chapter to get our answer, and journey a bit deeper into the LG lore. The story of the Koo family begins with their 12th generation ancestor, Gu Seong-ro, who lived during the illustrious Goryeo dynasty, a period characterized by significant cultural and political developments in Korea. And the family name Gu, or Koo, has its origins in the Wu-speaking region of China, a region known for its rich cultural heritage and historical significance. As early immigrants from this area arrived in Korea, they Romanized the surname as Koo. Then, over centuries, the Gu surname has become deeply rooted in the annals of East Asian history, ranking in the top 100 most common names in China. But the real foundation of Koo family members who would grow into a legendary business empire begins with the birth of Koo In-hwoi on the 27th of August 1906 in Jisumyeon, Jinyang County, now part of Jinju City, South Gyeongsang Province. And growing up as the eldest son in a family that rigorously adhered to Confucian values, Koo was nurtured in an environment where 4 generations lived together. This familial setup, emphasizing harmony, unity, and respect for elders, was emblematic of Confucian principles and profoundly influenced Koo's management philosophy at LG. Then, Koo In-hwoi's educational journey began at Seoul's Central Normal Higher School, from which he graduated in 1924. Instead of pursuing higher studies, a path often expected of young men of his stature, Koo chose to return to his hometown to engage in business. By the age of 20, in 1926, he had already become the head of the local business cooperative union, showcasing his early entrepreneurial spirit and leadership skills. And this role was a significant achievement at a time when Korea was under Japanese colonial rule and economic opportunities were limited. Subsequently, in 1927, Koo joined the influential Dong-ah Ilbo newspaper, a position that allowed him to refine his business acumen and expand his professional network. Despite facing early setbacks, including a failed store venture with his younger brother in 1931, Koo's determination never wavered, and in the transformative post-war period, in 1947, Koo In-hwoi founded Lakhui Chemical Industrial Corporation, commonly known as Lucky, in Seoul. Initially focusing on cosmetics, Lucky's first major product, Lucky Cream, quickly became popular for its high-quality ingredients and effective marketing. The success of Lucky Cream provided the financial foundation and brand recognition needed for the company's future growth and diversification. By 1952, Lakhui ventured into the plastics industry, becoming the first South Korean company to do so. This strategic move was critical during a time when Korea was recovering from the Korean War and there was a high demand for affordable consumer goods. And by producing a variety of plastic products, including toothbrushes and wash bowls, Lakhui met the domestic needs of a war-torn nation striving for normalcy. But his masterstroke came in 1958, when Koo In-hwoi's entrepreneurial spirit led to the establishment of Gold Star, which would later become LG Electronics. This venture marked Lakhui's entry into the electronics industry, an industry that was still in its infancy in South Korea, and Gold Star's first major product, a radio known as the A501, was thus developed and produced domestically. Introduced in November 1959, the A501 quickly gained popularity, becoming a symbol of technological progress in Korea. And the success of the A501 established by Gold Star laid the groundwork for South Korea's burgeoning electronics industry. Koo's journey, marked by a forward-thinking mindset, came to an end in December 1969 when he passed away at the age of 63. However, his son, Koo Cha-kyung, would take the reins the next year and expand what would become the LG brand to heights even the old patriarch could scarcely imagine. Koo Cha-kyung, Koo In-hwoi's son, was born on the 24th of April 1925 in Jinju, Korea, and upon the death of his father on the last day of the year 1960, Koo Cha-kyung assumed the role of chairman. Now, One of his first major actions was to take the company public in 1970, making it the first privately held firm in South Korea to do so. This strategic decision provided the company with the capital needed to fuel its expansion and innovation efforts. And under his leadership, LG Group's revenue grew exponentially from 26 billion won to 30 trillion won, reflecting the company's successful expansion into new markets and industries. Specifically, Koo Cha-kyung's leadership style was characterized by a focus on innovation and global expansion. He oversaw the company's diversification into various sectors, including electronics, chemicals, and telecommunications. This diversification was crucial in establishing LG as a global brand, and during his tenure, LG expanded its operations across Asia, Europe, and North America, significantly increasing its international presence and market share. Koo Bon-moo, the next in line, began his journey with the family business in 1975, a year after graduating from university. At the time, he joined Lucky Chemical, the predecessor of LG Chem, and embarked on a remarkable career that would shape the future of the conglomerate. By 1980, Koo Bon-moo's talents were recognized, and he was transferred to Gold Star, the electronics division of the company. This move proved pivotal, allowing him to immerse himself in the rapidly evolving world of consumer electronics, and from 1983 to 1985, he headed the company's Tokyo office, further broadening his horizons and preparing him for the global challenges that lay ahead. As the 1980s progressed, Koo Bon-moo played a crucial role in driving the company's expansion and innovation. Under his guidance, the conglomerate ventured into new territories, diversifying its product portfolio and solidifying its position in the global market. But it was Koo Bon-moo's ascent to the chairmanship of LG Group in 1995 that marked a significant turning point for the company as he succeeded his father, Koo Cha-kyung, as chairman of LG Group, following the family's tradition of male-only succession. Seated at the throne, Koo Bon-moo's strategic vision was instrumental in transforming LG from a local manufacturer into a global technological powerhouse. One of his first major initiatives was rebranding the company from Lucky Gold Star to LG, a move aimed at modernizing the brand and enhancing its global appeal. This rebranding was part of a broader strategy to expand LG's presence in international markets and diversify its product offerings. Under his leadership, LG established three key business units within the company: LG Electronics, LG Chem, and LG Uplus, which became pillars of the conglomerate's growth. He was particularly focused on the development of LCD displays, which became a core competence for LG as it expanded into television and smartphone manufacturing. And his bold investments in rechargeable batteries and other cutting-edge technologies positioned LG as a leader in these sectors. Furthermore, Koo Bon-moo's tenure saw LG's annual sales skyrocket from 30 trillion won in 1995 to 160 trillion won by the time of his death in 2018. However, in 1994, Koo Bon-moo faced a profound personal tragedy with the loss of his only son. This event led to a significant decision in 2004 when he adopted his nephew, Koo Kwang-mo, thereby ensuring the continuation of the family's leadership within LG Group. This decision was reflective of the family's adherence to a tradition of male succession. But Koo Bon-moo's adoption of Koo Kwang-mo was not just a personal family matter. It was also an attempted strategic move to maintain the continuity of leadership within LG Group, highlighting his influence and foresight in both family and business realms. Yet little did he know that this very change in succession planning would lead to the greatest internal crisis that the Koo family, and thus LG, had faced yet. Koo Bon-moo, the aforementioned former chairman of LG Group, passed away in 2018 without leaving a will, leading to a power struggle over his estimated $1.5 billion fortune and 11% stake in the company. Koo Kwang-mo, the nephew and adopted son of Koo Bon-moo, quickly succeeded him as chairman of LG Group. However, Koo's widow and two daughters are suing Koo Kwang-mo and other LG executives, alleging deception to seize their rightful inheritance. You see, the lawsuit pits the matriarch and daughters of the Koo family against the nephew-turned-heir Koo Kwang-mo, challenging the patriarchal tradition at LG that grants the oldest male successor power and wealth. And in March 2023, it was reported that Koo Kwang-mo has been embroiled in an inheritance dispute with his mother, Kim Young-sik, and two adopted sisters and literal first cousins, Koo Yeon-kyung and Koo Yeon-soo, over the ownership of Koo Bon-moo's shares. According to recordings from the trial, Koo's mother and sisters, who were previously involved in management, are suing to break an existing agreement and redistribute the inheritance shares, intending to be involved in management again. The dispute could potentially reduce the adopted Koo Kwang-mo's shareholding in LG Corp, the holding company, from 15.95% to 9.7%, which would be lower than the combined 14.9% held by his mother and sisters. Now, the key remaining issue is whether the court will accept the lawsuit, despite the 3-year statute of limitations on inheritance claims having already passed. LG maintains the inheritance was legally carried out through a prior family agreement, while the plaintiffs allege deception, and an unfavorable ruling could shake up LG's long-standing traditions and potentially diminish Koo Kwang-mo's control over the vast conglomerate his family has led for over 75 years. Additionally, under his leadership, LG Group has undergone substantial restructuring to streamline its operations and focus on high-growth areas. If the power dynamics are disrupted, it could be set back some of the key decisions made within the company. For example, one of the most notable decisions was the closure of LG Electronics' mobile phone business in 2021, which allowed the company to redirect resources towards more profitable sectors such as auto electronics and household appliances. However, LG Group's financial performance has been robust during Koo's tenure. The market capitalization of the group nearly tripled, and annual sales approached $153 billion, driven by strategic investments in new growth areas such as electric vehicle components, batteries, artificial intelligence, and clean technology industries. Therefore, we'll have to wait and see if the massive LG empire continues to run until a smooth, continuous line, or if the family shake-up will mean an uncharted course in the not-so-distant future. Imagine yourself as a parent from an old-money Swiss family, visiting your little ones at the prestigious Liebefeld-Steinhölzli school in Bern. As you approach the schoolyard, you see your child laughing and playing basketball with a boy who introduces himself as Pak-un. Strikingly, you notice that this Pak-un is particularly enthusiastic about the sport, emulating the moves of his favorite NBA star, Michael Jordan, on the court alongside your child. Pak-un is polite, though noticeably reserved, and he claims to be the son of an employee at the North Korean embassy in Bern, a story that doesn't raise eyebrows in the cosmopolitan environment of the school, where many children of diplomats and international professionals are enrolled. In the classroom, however, his performance is unremarkable. He seems more interested in sports and video games than in his studies, excelling only in music and technical subjects, and his poor attendance and low grades in other areas are noted by the teachers, but not heavily scrutinized. Furthermore, the boy's staff, ostensibly relatives and embassy staff, always shadows him, ensuring his safety. These adults surrounding young Pak-un, who maintain a discreet but constant presence, arouse curiosity among you and other parents, but are generally dismissed as part of the peculiarities of diplomatic life. Our dear viewer, if you were indeed one of these old money parents at that Swiss school, it is likely that years later, as you read the headlines, you would be stunned to learn that Pak-un was in fact Kim Jong-un, the future supreme leader of North Korea. Shockingly, the quiet, somewhat aloof boy your child once played basketball with was living a life shrouded in secrecy, preparing for a role that would place him at the helm of one of the world's most repressive regimes. In today's episode, we'll share how North Korea's ruling family came to power, from their first quiet beginnings as Christian missionaries under Japanese colonial rule to atheist authoritarian dictators, as we describe the full saga of the Kims, the family that controls North Korea. Kim Jong-un's grip on power in 2024 is as tight as a vice, solidifying his position as the uncontested ruler of North Korea. And since seizing control after his father Kim Jong-il's death in December 2011, Kim has systematically reinforced his authority with the ruthlessness of a seasoned autocrat. Born in the early 1980s, Kim spent his formative years in Switzerland, attending the International School of Bern under a pseudonym. This Swiss stint exposed him to Western values like personal freedom and democracy, but instead of sparking reformist tendencies, his time abroad only deepened his resolve to preserve and expand the regime's unbridled control. And while critics initially doubted young Kim's ability to lead, he swiftly quashed those doubts by displaying a chilling efficiency in consolidating power. Over the years, he has executed high-profile purges, eliminating potential rivals and dissenters with a swiftness that leaves no room for challenge. Furthermore, Kim Jong-un's seemingly endless control is exemplified in his lavish lifestyle, a glaring discrepancy against the backdrop of widespread poverty in North Korea. He owns several luxurious residences, including the Ryongseong Residence, or Residence Number 55, in Pyongyang's Ryongseong district. Completed in 1983, this sprawling complex features an underground wartime headquarters, numerous military units for protection, and a private underground train station. It boasts extravagant amenities like banquet halls, a massive swimming pool with a water slide, a running track, a spa, horse stables, and a shooting range. Another notable property in the Jong-un portfolio is the Ryokpo Palace on the outskirts of Pyongyang. Recent satellite images revealed several buildings at this palace were demolished, possibly to modernize the complex or repurpose it for military use. Clearly, Kim's penchant for luxury is matched only by his desire for fortified security. Additionally, Kim's collection of private jets and luxury vehicles underscores his opulent tastes amidst a nation grappling with severe deprivation. His primary aircraft is a modified Cold War-era Ilyushin IL-62, known as Chame-1, and this Soviet-era jet, once the largest in the world, has been extensively renovated to suit Kim's ostentatious preferences. The interior features plush white leather chairs, rosewood tables, and crystal ashtrays, creating a VIP setup rivaling the US Air Force One. Kim also has a passion for aviation, building small runways near his family compounds and even piloting planes himself, though his flying qualifications remain a mystery. Yet, Kim's fleet of luxury cars is equally extravagant. He's often seen in high-end foreign cars, including Mercedes-Maybach Pullman Guard armored limousines and Cadillac SUVs. And beyond his jets and cars, Kim Jong-un boasts an extensive collection of superyachts, including the Princess 95NY, a luxurious motor yacht valued at approximately $7 million US. This yacht, from Princess Yachts under the LVMH umbrella, is stationed off Kim's Wonsan Resort, and it features an expansive flybridge deck, generous staterooms, and a full-width saloon and dining area, accommodating up to 10 people in elegant style. Despite sanctions, Kim has managed to acquire and maintain this vessel, often seen traveling between his beachside mansion and a secluded island. In addition to the Princess 95 MEs, Kim owns a 260-foot luxury yacht described as a floating amusement park with a double water slide, an Olympic-sized pool, and a multi-story lounge. Furthermore, Kim Jong-un's recreational assets include the Pyongyang Golf Course, dubbed the world's most exclusive by North Korean state media. This golf course gained legendary status when Kim's father, Kim Jong-il, supposedly hit 11 holes in one during his first game there in 1994. While golf isn't popular in North Korea, the course has recently opened to foreign amateurs as part of a diplomatic initiative to foster friendships through sport. The course features attractions like an underwater golf course, an archery ground, and a boating area, offering a unique and luxurious experience for visitors. However, how did this third-generation dictator come to keep power over one of the most well-known countries in the world living under authoritarian rule? To get our answer, we'll have to start at the beginning, with the origins of the Kim family. So, let's flip over to the next chapter. The Kim family's ascent in North Korea is tied to Japan's imperial aims in the early 20th century. You see, Japan viewed the Korean peninsula's strategic location as vital for its military and economic pursuits, and was attracted by Korea's natural resources and agricultural potential to support its industrialization. This subsequently led to the Japan-Korea Treaty of 1910, which integrated Korea into the Japanese Empire. And under Japanese dominion, Korea underwent severe social and political disruption. Japanese authorities enforced rigorous controls, stifling Korean culture and language while exploiting its resources, a suppression that fueled resentment and resistance among Koreans, including Kim Hyong-jik, the first known patriarch of the Kim family, whose experiences under Japanese rule profoundly shaped his desire for Korean independence. Now, the surname Kim itself is widespread in Korea, with origins stretching back over a millennium, symbolizing gold. Many Kims have historically claimed descent from royalty or nobility, and the Kim family we're discussing today, reportedly from the Jeonju Kim clan, originated from Jeonju in North Jeolla province. This clan, claiming lineage from the Goryeo dynasty's royal family, is one of Korea's most prominent and historic clans, and Kim Hyong-jik's great-grandfather, Kim Ung-woo, settled in Pyongyang's Mangyongdae neighborhood in 1860, establishing a foundation for the family's future influence in the region. To give a little more context to the Kim family of North Korea's backstory, during this era, the Christian denomination of Methodism reached Korea through American missionaries like Henry Appenzeller and Horace Underwood in the 1880s, and they aimed to spread Christianity while providing education and medical services, which Korean authorities permitted, recognizing the benefits for the country's modernization. The missionaries established schools, hospitals, and churches, becoming pivotal in education and social services. The Kim family patriarch, Kim Hyong-jik, was thus educated at a school founded by these Protestant missionaries, gaining exposure to Christian teachings and Western education. And although Japanese authorities typically limited access to such education to curb Western influence, the education and values imparted by these missionaries deeply influenced Kim, who embraced Methodism. This religion provided a platform for cultural resistance and a modern education, resonating with many Koreans' aspirations during Japanese rule. Kim Hyong-jik then married one Kang Pan-sok at the age of 15, in line with traditional Korean customs. Kang, 2 years his senior, bore their first child, future dictator Kim Il-sung, when Kim Hyong-jik was 17. Additionally, Kim Il-sung had 2 younger brothers, Kim Chul-ju, who perished fighting the Japanese, and Kim Yong-ju, who initially played a role in the North Korean government before losing favor. Kim Hyong-jik and his wife were active in Christian churches, with the young future dictator also serving as a part-time Protestant missionary before later becoming an atheist. Therefore, it would be the rise of the Soviet Union, with its overtly anti-religious doctrines, that would lead the Kim dynasty, and thus North Korea, to an entirely different trajectory from the Methodist mission upbringing that the young patriarchs had grown up in. Now, Kim Il-sung's tenure in the Soviet Union during the 1930s significantly shaped his political and military ideologies. You see, his early resistance efforts had drawn the attention of Soviet officials, who sent him to the Soviet Union for advanced training, preparing him for future leadership in North Korea. Then, in the Soviet Union, Kim Il-sung received comprehensive military and political education. He served in the Soviet Red Army within the 88th Separate Rifle Brigade, composed mostly of Korean and Chinese guerrillas. And this experience was critical in shaping his military acumen and deepening his understanding of communist ideology, which later influenced his governance style. For example, the training stressed political indoctrination, organizational skills, and strategic propaganda use, which likely sounds familiar to viewers. Immersed in communist ideology, Kim adopted Marxism-Leninism principles, later adapting them into juche, or self-reliance, tailored to the Korean context. This ideology stressed national independence, economic self-sufficiency, and centralized leadership. Soon thereafter, he also became acquainted with the cult of personality, a tactic he observed from Soviet leaders like Joseph Stalin, and later emulated in North Korea to consolidate his power. Upon Japan's 1945 surrender and Korea's subsequent division along the 38th parallel, Kim returned to the Soviet-occupied North. Kim's organizational skills and ability to connect with the local populace impressed Soviet backers and were instrumental in his rapid ascent to power. Thus, with support from the Soviet Union, he rapidly ascended in political rank, eventually heading the Provisional People's Committee for North Korea in 1946. This provisional government laid the groundwork for what would become North Korea. By 1948, Kim emerged as North Korea's dominant political figure, paving the way for the Democratic People's Republic of Korea's establishment on the 9th of September, 1948. This Soviet-supported state formation paralleled the Republic of Korea's establishment in the south, following failed reunification talks between the Soviet Union and the United States. The founding of North Korea was therefore crucially influenced by Kim Il-sung's leadership, and he quickly cultivated a personality cult, positioning himself as the nation's liberator and epitome of Korean aspirations, extending this veneration to his family members, who were celebrated as revolutionary figures. His consolidation strategy also involved political purges and propaganda, with figures like Park Hon-yong from the domestic faction notably being purged and executed, and others marginalized through public denunciations and show trials. Then, the early 1950s saw the Korean War, initiated by Kim with the goal of Korean reunification under his rule, become a definitive moment that would solidify his authority. Yet, despite early successes, the conflict escalated into an international crisis, drawing in the United States, China, and the Soviet Union. With Chinese military support, Kim's regime survived, but the war concluded in a stalemate, with Korea remaining divided. Following the war, Kim leveraged the narrative of resisting imperialist forces to bolster his domestic image as a resilient leader. He advocated a heavy industry-first approach, aiming for rapid industrialization without compromising living standards. This strategy leveraged extensive support from the Soviet Union and China, along with intense population mobilization through mass campaigns, and the government further exerted control over private property and organizations, shifting to state-run production. Additionally, he intensified political purges to eliminate any remaining opposition within the military and party, asserting a centralized, authoritarian regime. During this era, the North outstripped South Korea economically, a trend that continued into the early 1970s and mirrored other communist regimes that at the time seemed poised to even overtake the capitalist West. Yet, lurking in the shadows was the reality that a successor would have to be chosen. With the North Korean communist economy thrived, Kim Il-sung meticulously cultivated a cult of personality, which emerged as a prominent feature of North Korean society. See, this cult had gained momentum after a significant purge in 1953, with his son, Kim Jong-il, later playing a key role in its development from the late 1960s. Kim Il-sung was exalted as a near-divine figure, credited with single-handedly defeating the Japanese and reconstructing North Korea post-war. And he garnered numerous titles such as Great Leader and Son, many self-bestowed, through a state-backed media and propaganda campaign that celebrated him as a revolutionary hero. This cult of personality, even more extreme than those of other communist leaders like Joseph Stalin or Mao Zedong, soon became integral to North Korean society. It was constantly reinforced by monuments, portraits, and rigorous indoctrination, with any criticism severely punished. And it not only supported the regime's control over its people, but also underscored the Juche ideology that championed Korean autonomy and justified the Kim family's dynastic governance. Then, the 1970s marked a significant phase as Kim Il-sung began grooming Kim Jong-il as his successor. This transition involved strategic placements within the Korean Workers' Party and the creation of a secondary personality cult around Kim Jong-il that mirrored his father's. By 1973, Kim Jong-il was pivotal within the KWP, overseeing organization, propaganda, and agitation, thus controlling information flow and ideological education. Efforts to ensure a smooth succession included a vigorous propaganda campaign showcasing Kim Jong-il as a potent and committed leader. His image began to populate public spaces alongside his father, and his commendations saturated state media. Consequently, the Sixth Party Congress in October 1980 was a defining moment in solidifying dynastic rule. Kim Jong-il assumed high-ranking positions within the Politburo, Military Commission, and Party Secretariat, firmly establishing him as the future leader and concluding years of meticulous preparation and power consolidation. And yet, the following decade, the 1990s, would begin to signal the end of a North Korean economy that could go toe-to-toe with the capitalist West, as the downfall of the Soviet Union would lead to a crisis within the Kim family that they had never experienced before as rulers. The 1990s marked a period of profound economic decline and famine in North Korea during the late years of Kim Il-sung's rule. For instance, the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 stripped North Korea of crucial economic support and cheap energy imports, leaving it isolated and vulnerable. And the inefficient, centrally planned economy, coupled with the loss of Soviet aid, resulted in a significant contraction in industrial output and agricultural production. North Korea's troubles were further compounded by natural disasters. Devastating floods in 1995 destroyed arable land, grain reserves, and infrastructure, followed by droughts in 1996 and 1997 that further hampered food production. And the convergence of economic mismanagement, the loss of external support, and natural calamities led to a catastrophic famine, with estimates suggesting that between 2 to 3 million people died from starvation and related illnesses. Furthermore, the government's response to the famine was largely inadequate and sometimes counterproductive, prioritizing military and elite needs over the general populace. With the collapse of the public distribution system, many North Koreans turned to informal markets and foraging to survive. The crisis fostered increased corruption, black market activities, and a decline in public support for the regime. Then, Kim Il-sung's death on the 8th of July 1994 came at this critical juncture. He suffered a fatal heart attack, and his death was not reported for over 34 hours as preparations for his son, Kim Jong-il's succession, were made. Officially declared the great successor, Kim Jong-il's rise marked the start of dynastic rule in North Korea, accompanied by a 10-day mourning period and the establishment of Kim Il-sung's mausoleum at the Kumsusan Memorial Palace. Kim Jong-il's subsequent consolidation of power from 1994 to 1997 involved strategic placements within the regime, purges, and the cultivation of his own personality cult. He focused on securing control over the Korean People's Army, recognizing its crucial role in regime stability, and by appointing loyalists to key military and party positions, Kim Jong-il laid the foundation for his military first, or Songun, policy, emphasizing the military's preeminence in state affairs. Furthermore, Kim Jong-il's slow assumption of leadership titles was calculated, not becoming General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea until 1997, thereby solidifying his control over the party apparatus. This period also saw internal purges and factional struggles, notably the Kapsan faction incident, where Kim Jong-il eliminated perceived threats to his authority, consolidating his rule through intimidation and strategic appointments. Therefore, during Kim Jong-il's regime, the military-first policy took precedence, further straining the already dire economic situation. This policy, rooted in Kim Il-sung's guerrilla warfare against the Japanese, prioritized military needs over civilian ones, diverting resources to the military and exacerbating the civilian sector's plight. Kim Jong-il, North Korea's longtime leader, died from a heart attack on December 17, 2011, during a train tour, reportedly due to overwork. His death, announced by state media 2 days later, prompted widespread public grief in Pyongyang, with scenes of people visibly devastated by the loss of their dear leader, who had ruled for 17 years. The government declared a period of national mourning, featuring memorial services and extensive public displays of sorrow. Immediately following his death, Kim Jong-il's youngest son, Kim Jong-un, was quickly hailed as the great successor and the supreme leader of North Korea. Despite his youth and relative inexperience, Kim Jong-un had been prepared for leadership since his father's stroke in 2008 and was declared supreme commander of the military shortly after his father's death on the 31st of December 2011. In the ensuing months after his father's passing, Kim Jong-un consolidated his position, assuming significant party and military titles in April 2012, and he was named first secretary of the Workers' Party, while his father was declared Eternal General Secretary. Additionally, Kim Jong-un became the first chairman of the National Defense Commission, with his father named Eternal Chairman, reinforcing his authority and the dynastic continuity. Now, over 70 years into the Kim dynasty's rule, North Korea remains under tight control through propaganda, surveillance, and intimidation. As of 2024, Kim Jong-un still leads, but signs indicate preparations for future leadership transitions. His daughter Kim Joo-ae has been increasingly visible, participating in significant events and receiving honorifics reserved for top leaders, suggesting she may be groomed for succession. South Korea's intelligence services speculate that Kim Joo-ae, around 10 years old, is being prepared for leadership. This potential transition could mark the third hereditary succession in the regime's history. Despite the patriarchal nature of the regime, Kim Jong-un's promotion of key female figures like his sister Kim Yo-jong, who could play a transitional role, indicates a possible shift. Another potential successor, Kim Pyong-il, son of North Korea's founder Kim Il-sung, returned to North Korea in 2019 after decades in Europe, fueling speculation about his role. However, his outsider status and the regime's preference for direct descendants might limit his prospects. As North Korea prepares for another generational change, the focus is on maintaining continuity and the family's dynastic rule, despite ongoing economic challenges and international isolation.